Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Jamaican Obeah and the difference between it and ATRs. My perspective. Now, Jamaican Obeah in Jamaica is more known to be a sorcery, like I told people before. It's not really a tradition in the sense where we look at some of the ATRs we have now and everything has to be said this way and this prayer has to be done that way and this particular plan could be have to this way. It's not like that when it comes to Abia. To me, in my opinion, personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I feel it's more traditional in the sense where it's raw. It's the only thing that depicts what could be done and what can be done is what is accepted by the spirit and what's not accepted by the spirit. So there's no I have to say this exact prayer before I could do this, and X. I have to do A, B, C before I do X, Y, Z. It is more sorcery. You and the spirit have a personal relationship. This is a gift that was given to you by your birthright. This is not an initiation right, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's two different completely things. One is initiated to get the right to work with the spirit, and one is born with their own spirit and has the right to work with them. Now, when it comes to Jamaican Obeah, I think to me it's like I said, it's very vast because depending on your bloodline and your family, and depending on how the practitioner decides to work, will results in the spirits or deities or whatever the case may be that the sorcerer is gonna or the sorceress works with. For instance, we know that in certain traditions, it is always going to be orishas, it is always going to be impungos, it is always going to be abosoms, it is going to be always going to be the netas. In Obia, it could be a little bit different because depending on how the practitioner works, is going to be a spirit that's in accordance with their bloodline. And like I said, there's a lot more spirits out there than what you think is accessible, what you think you as you hear from ATRs and what you read on Google. The spirit realm is vast. All right. So just because this individual is working with an entity that you never heard of, don't mean that the entity isn't powerful and can't get the job done. Is all up to the practitioner, and basically if the practitioner knows how to manipulate these energies of these force fields to get their desires or the client's desires. So like I said, to me the difference between Jamaican Obeah, it is a sorcery. People try to say that there's no deities or there's no spirits. That I don't know where people get this from. I think it's because nobody ever tells anyone the name of their spirits, because that's very secretive. That's a personal thing. Is a need to know basis. Um, and like I said, this is more based on sorcery. So the secrets are not just going to be giving out there like that to people. And a lot of time, the secrets are given from the spirits itself. They show you through dreams. They guide you. They like it seems real cliche to say, but trust me, when these spirits are present, they do make themselves very well known. Um, you will wake up, if one of them see you, if visit you in a dream, you will remember the dream. You will wake up and remember the name they told you in the dream. So, like I said, to me, Jamaican Obeah could be a little bit more traditional in the sense where it's more of a birthright, where the practitioner is using what's born with them and what they learn to use on their own or acquire on their own, versus you going to a tradition and receiving initiation. Because in my personal experience, I don't think there were that much witch doctors in the village. Like the way that tradition is done now is like, oh, you get an initiation, you get an initiation, you get an initiation. And to me, it's like, damn, back in the days, this is how much witch doctors there were. Like there were so many. I mean, it could be, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I just think that it was a little bit more rare than how it is now. I feel like a lot of people are supposed to be in these traditions, but the amount of priests and priestesses that they're making, I don't know. Um, you got people that have no spiritual nothing walking around the next day a high priest. And motherfuckers like 30 something years old with no nothing to say that they always had some type of spiritual inclination or anything, and they're a high priest in like like a week or so. But to each his own. If it's working for you, it's working for you. All right. Oh, and I want this to be said. Just because you are born with your own, if you're born with your own spirits, don't mean you can't get initiated into a tradition. That's not the path for everybody. I mean, you get what I'm saying? So just because you're initiated, don't mean you don't have your own spirits. It don't mean that. Maybe you wasn't aware of it. Maybe you felt it was too difficult for you to work with. I'm not saying that everybody that goes into a tradition don't have their own spirits. Not saying that. That's far from the truth. But there is a lot that I personally don't believe don't have it. But like I said, that's for a whole nother discussion. Jamaican Obeah is more sorcery. African tradition is exactly what it says. It's a tradition.